Hey guys, so Burning Arrow in 3.9 Metamorph League has been slightly reworked, improved, and while everyone were playing Explosive Arrow, I decided to play with the Burning Arrow. The Explosive Arrow Ignite is just clearly broken and is definitely gonna get nerfed in some way next league. And I think Burning Arrow is the second in line of being the best Ignite build, at least for attacks. In fact, with this build, I finally managed to defeat Sirius on Awakening 8. It was actually the first time I defeated Sirius at all. And I did it twice. I defeated Uber Elder, I defeated Uber Aziri, I defeated Shaper a couple times, all the Shaper Guardians, Elder Guardians, did Cortex as well. Basically, I did everything I could with this build. And at level 92, I have almost 8000 life, and the Ignite DPS is over 700,000. But that's not all, because Burning Arrow after a rework can apply a stacking Burning debuff. Debuff deals fire damage per second equal to 40% at level 21 of Ignite damage per second. I'm gonna repeat this. At level 21, Burning Arrow debuff deals 40% of Ignite damage per second and it stacks 5 times. So essentially debuff deals fire damage equal to 200% of your Ignite damage per second. An important thing to note is that it says Ignite damage per second. So scaling and getting increased Ignite duration would not improve this debuff damage. In fact, you want to use mods that makes your ignites deal damage faster, therefore increasing ignite damage per second. I'm talking about things like the Diadian Dawn Belt or Washer Cypher Malevolence or new boots with the ignites deal damage faster mod. So this build actually gets over 2 million DPS. And because this is a Chieftain and every 10 seconds you gain 100% of physical damage as extra fire damage for 4 seconds, this also boosts your ignite damage to over 3 million DPS. And as you will see a bit later when I show my items, some of my items can still be improved quite a lot. And the build is not really that expensive. 6 link Xoph Nurture both cost around 3 exalts, less than 3 exalts, depending on the rolls. And the rest of items can be very conditional and well, optional. But this build combined is probably around 5-6 exalts. Also, this is a Chieftain, but you could do this as a Juggernaut if you want more tankiness. And I have to say that this build still feels somewhat squishy. I don't know, maybe just the league is very dangerous. I would quite often get one-shotted from almost 8k life. Because as a buff build, I don't have Fortify, I don't really have a lot of mitigation. I do gain endurance charges through the Enduring Cry, and I do have 17% of physical damage taken as fire damage. And in fact, I do have over 1000 life regen per second. Of course, not to mention life reach and life gain on Ignite. By the way, all the clips that you see in this video are on Awakening level 8. Actually, I'm not entirely sure if Shaper and Uber Elder are affected by Awakening level because they are not technically maps and not on the Atlas. But nonetheless, Shaper has over 60 million life and Shaper plus Uber Elder have around 45, I believe, million each. Now the only, I guess, well, not really the only drawback, but the biggest drawback is that you have to ignite 6 times actually. First time when you ignite, you apply, well, the burning and that enables immolate, and then the next 5 ignites will be much stronger. But also you have to do that fast enough before they expire, and in between you have to drop some lighting skill or cold skill to reset elemental equilibrium. And while fighting Metamorph, turns out that each time a Metamorph morphs into another enemy, it resets ignites, so you have to reapply them again, which is very frustrating. So I guess this build doesn't do very well against Metamorph. I was able to do all the Metamorphs that I found. I'm just saying that it's not very well designed for Metamorph. So if you are interested into this build and want to copy, I'm gonna leave a path for building import code in the description. And next I'm gonna talk more in details about my items, links, passive skill tree. But before that, if you are new here and like this kind of video, subscribe. I am mostly testing of meta things, and especially if you are tired of seeing meta builds, you're definitely gonna find yourself at home here. Or if you want to support this idiot who played Path of Exile for 7 years and can barely defeat Sirius, I have some cool merchandise and a Patreon. And now more in details about the items, skills, passive skill tree, support gems. So, like I said, 6 link Xoph Nurture bow, Kaom's Heart. I was previously playing with some rare body armor because I wanted to do something fancy, but I just kept dying and just decided to go with the Kaom's Heart. Then I recently bought this helmet. Previously I was using, what is it called? Asuna Shan helmet, and it was basically to proc like Bollighting to reset elemental equilibrium, to also proc flammability and wave of conviction with combustion. a rare helmet like this with the helmet enchantment is just more life, more damage. Then I got the quiver. You don't really need pierce. You can actually anoint an amulet with extra 2 pierce from this. It's not that expensive, but I wanted to anoint more damage instead, so I went with the penetrating quiver. You can get fire damage over time multipliers, elemental damage of attacks. You can get flat fire or physical damage to attacks. You may want a bit more accuracy and maybe attack speed. Attack speed would actually be very nice, but I can't really get any more. The belt, actually, you can quality it with attack abrasive catalyst, and that will improve the faster ignites. Basically, it's gonna give another 7%. On the ring, I got flammability ring because it's just like quality of life improvement, and because using Kaom's heart, I don't have a lot of room for curses, but you can have like Orb of Storm with curse on hit and flammability. But I wanted my Orb of Storm to have a higher crit chance to proc elemental overload more reliably, and I also linked it with faster casting and Culling Strike. Culling Strike is actually also pretty useful for this. Then the boost, like I said, ignites you inflict deal damage faster mod. I believe it can roll to 9%. Oh wow, it actually can roll even to 9%. But yeah, you can get that for quite cheap. I don't think that many people play ignites these days. The gloves, fire damage over time multiplier. You may also want attack speed, accuracy, life resistance is of course useful, but I'm gonna show later that you don't need a lot of resistances. You may also want to get flat fire or physical damage to attacks. It may in some cases even be better than fire damage over time multiplier, so don't break yourself trying to get fire damage over time multiplier gloves. Just make sure you do not use the temple gloves, which gives flat fire damage against burning enemies. I think I don't have the gloves to show, but the temple mod gives flat fire damage against burning enemies, and that is global. It would also apply to your Orb of Storm, and that would mess up elemental equilibrium completely. Another ring with just a lot of life and then elemental damage of attacks. You can still get better rings, and amulet can definitely be better. You can also get fire damage over time multiplier on amulet, along with big increased elemental damage of attacks, maybe attack speed, maybe flat physical or fire damage to attacks. I was also trying to get Chaos Resistance because on my previous builds I would just kind of ignore Chaos Res, but on this I tried to get more Chaos Resistance, had but the armor with Chaos Res and had like positive 8 Chaos Res, and I was still getting one-shotted, so I just decided screw that, I'm just gonna get more life. So it would be nice if you could get Chaos Resistance, but if you can't, then whatever. For the flasks, Sulfur Flask, using Basalt for more tankiness, and Cinder Swallow gives quite a lot of damage, but it's only one use, so wouldn't rely on it too much against the big bosses. Now for the links, my Vault Burning, actually using Vault Burning Arrow, and there's some weird issue with Vault Burning Arrow and Ignites. Like, it doesn't seem that it's applying multiple burning debuffs from the Burning Arrow. It just seems like it applies one Ignite and then one debuff from Vault Burning Arrow, even if you are shooting multiple projectiles. So I'm not entirely sure what's happening. So yeah, Vault Burning Arrow is linked with GMP for the clear speed, which I swapped to Awaken Deadly Ailments, and then it's linked with elemental damage of attacks, Immolate level 21, quality doesn't really matter that much, Inspiration to reduce the mana cost a bit, it doesn't seem like I need more, but Inspiration does give quite a lot of damage, and then Awaken Burning Damage, get a level 1 Awaken Burning Damage and quality to 20. That's gonna give you, actually it doesn't show, gonna give you 10% fire damage over time multiplier, which is pretty big, but you don't need quality on Awaken Deadly Ailments. It is actually pretty difficult to properly aim and hit the target when you shoot only one projectile, and also Burning Arrow has pretty small hitbox, so the projectiles sometimes fly next to enemies without hitting something, so you're kinda gonna have to get used to it, but while mapping it's fine. Then in the helmet I have what cast and damage taken linked with Wave of Conviction, Combustion, and Increased Duration. This is to apply fire exposure. You can use Scorching Ray totems, but totems die. I wanted to click as few buttons as possible. That's why I was previously using Ascendancy helmet. In the gloves I have Orb of Storm with increased critical strike chance and faster casting and Culling Strike. In the boots I have Enduring Cry, Manual Cast. Well, you can only do Manual Cast. Previously I had Anointment Inexorable on the amulet, this one, but it was so unreliable. You have to get hit and it's only 10% chance to get Endurance Charge, and even before that I had this skill, so this would be a pretty reliable way of getting Endurance Charges, but in the end I decided to go with this. I'm gonna talk about that later. The rest is Flame Dash. I love Flame Dash. Skitterbots is actually slightly better than Herald of Ash. And then Malevolence for damage. Malevolence Watcher Scythe for damaging ailments you inflict deal damage faster, basically, while affected by Malevolence. And this is much cheaper than the damage over time multiplier, which costs like 6 exalts, while this one costs like 70 heals. Maybe even less depending on the league. And the rest just life, some resistances where I needed. I also have got lucky and got Corrupted Blood cannot be inflicted on you, which is you definitely want this on some duel against the Cirrus. Also got Tempered Mind, Solves Accuracy. Let's see, 99 accuracy, 99 hit chance with this. Without it, 87. So it's pretty mandatory, I would say. But if you're Jugg, you're not gonna need that, because Jugg will have a lot more accuracy and a bit more attack speed, but less damage. The rest jewels either fire damage and life or fire damage over time multiplier, but you can also get abuse jewels with like flat fire damage to attacks and life, and attack speed also would be nice. For the rest of the passive skill tree, first I got this one because, well, damage, then this one for more damage, and then it's up to you. This one is conditional, so you're not gonna rely on this damage, so then you decide you either go with the Tassalio or you go with this one. This one gives 10% physical damage taken as fire, and if you combine with the helmet mod, which by the way costed 1 exalt to craft, so you can also get the temple one, but you're not gonna be able to craft the fossils. Nearby enemies have -9 fire resistance, which is probably what you're gonna want, especially if you're getting helmet enchantment as well. So this one also is very nice because when you take fire or physical damage, you get 50% increased life recovery rate, basically, if you have been hit recently by that. And you're also unaffected by ignite, so it's also kind of nice. Also, you get 100% increased fire resistance, so you're not gonna need to worry about getting too much fire resistance, if at all. So then you just focus on getting cold and lightning resistance and heals, which is why I mostly picked this. The regen is also very nice. Like I said, I have over 1k life regen per second. Actually 1.5k if I'm standing on consecrated ground. And then lastly I picked this for conditional damage. Actually now shows the proper buff icon. Previously it did not, and you couldn't really time it, but now you can at least time it. And the rest of the passive skill tree, the start of the Marauder is a bit weak because you're just getting life and nothing really much else until you get to like a Temporous area to get a bit of damage. I got this one because, well, attack speed is pretty important for the smoothness of this build, and since you do need to ignite at least 5-6 times, you do want to attack fast enough. You can also get like attack speed in here, so you're gonna have to experiment, I guess. But you're also getting more attack speed through here, so it's not being wasted. And then of course Elemental Equilibrium, Elemental Overload. First, actually, I didn't get Elemental Equilibrium until like level 85 or something like that, maybe even later. Just get Elemental Overload as soon as possible. Just use like something like Orb of Storm with increased critical strike to proc it more reliably. You don't need much AoE, I think. The AoE could be nice, but you don't really need it, so don't worry about that. Juggernauts would be pretty similar. By the way, I anointed this one. It's pretty cheap and it does give quite a lot of damage and also regen. As a Jugger, you probably would travel a bit here or maybe through here, grab those, go here, grab another endurance charge, maybe even a bit more life here, and then maybe not even go for this route, but you're still gonna probably want to reach this. So you probably would drop all of this path and take an endurance charges. I actually did take extra endurance charge, but I'm not sure how much it's actually helping me. The combined mitigation from this helmet, and this I believe is around 12% physical damage mitigation at 75% fire resistance. And plus for endurance charges, that's another 16%, so something like 30% physical damage reduction. And I'm drowning in the darkness. Oh no, oh no, I need darkness resistance. On Saturday I'm probably gonna be streaming Volsen and gonna try to do some videos about Volsen, and maybe even play Volsen until the end of this league. And yeah, but so I'm gonna be back with PvE videos next league, I guess. If not, then if Volsen is not good enough, then I guess I'm gonna be doing more things in Path of Exile. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.